Hello everyone, I am Dr. Alok Agrawal, working as an associate professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Sagar Institute of Research and Technology. So today I will be discussing about a topic on fans, blower and compressors. This topic is of ME 603 Turbomachinery subject, which is of 6th semester, and this topic is of Unit 4. So let us start with the introduction part of this unit. So what is there in introduction? First of all, let us see what is turbomachinery. It is a device which is generally categorized on the basis of the type of flow of energy. What does it mean? It means that if a device is taking energy, we call it as a power absorbing device. If it is generating energy, we call it as a power generating device. And if it is transmitting energy, we call it as a power transmitting device. So there are three categories of turbo machinery. Now see the word turbo machinery. So machinery, everybody knows what is machinery. If it is associated with the word turbo, it means that there is a one rotating component in that machine and the energy transfer is taking place on that rotating element with the help of that rotating element. So if we say that what is turbo machinery, it is a device in which there is a rotating element and that rotating element is doing the transfer of energy from fluid or through fluid from one place to another place. So this is what turbo machinery is about. So if we categorize this turbo machinery, we are having power generating machine. The example of power generating machines are turbines, where there is a rotating element, fluid comes, strike to the blade of the turbine, and blade start rotating. When this blade rotates, it generates mechanical energy. Means what is happening here? The kinetic energy or the thermal energy of fluid is getting converted into mechanical energy. So this is power generating machine. With the help of that turbine, we can generate electricity, as we all know. Next is power absorbing device, where we have to give power to the device, like pumps, compressor, because all those components like pumps and compressors runs with the help of electricity. Next is power transmitting device, which is also called, which is mainly known as fluid coupling or torque converter, where the energy transfer takes place from one part of the system to the another part of the system. So these are the three categories of turbo machine. Here we are talking about power absorbing machine and more specifically about compressor. Because see, power absorbing, there are two main categories of power absorbing device. First is pump and second one is compressor. So if the device handles liquid, then we call it as a pump. And if the device handles gas or air or any gaseous fluid, we call it as a compressor. Okay, so here again, we are not talking about the device which handles liquid. We are talking about the device which handles uh, gas or air. So in that category, we have three types of turbo machines, that is fan, blower, and compressor. And this unit is all about fan, blower, and compressor. So what it does, the function of all three types of this category turbo machine is to increase the pressure of the air, or we can say to provide a compressed air. Now let us see what are the application of compressed air. Compressed air has wide range of application. It is used generally to operate small engines, to give power to the small engines, like tools in the factory, operating drills. It is used to operate hammers in road building. It is even used for starting the diesel engine. And there are many other uses like braking. What we are using, automobile, what we are using compressor to operate the brakes of buses, trucks, trains. Generally, it is mainly used in trains. The heavy train used to slow down, or we can provide brake with the help of compressor integrated in that. Again, there is a large quantity of air at moderate pressure is required in industry as well, like for smelting of various material. Okay, so this is another application of compressed air. Even large quantity of air is required in air conditioning, which we are using in our day-to-day life. So compressed air has a wide range of application. You might see the pump. You might have used the pump used to inflate the air in the bicycle or vehicle. So that is what we are doing. That there is a machine they have kept in their shop. So that machine is stored with compressed air, and that compressed air is getting filled into our tire. So there are multiple applications where compressed air is used. So it is of importance to understand the device that create that compressed air. So there are three kind of device, that is fan, blower and compressor. Let us see each one of them. So first of all, fan. So what we are seeing fan, we are talking about that fan only. That is ceiling fan or table fan, or we can say exhaust fan. All this comes under the category of fan. So see how we are differentiating fan, blower and compressor, though they all are doing the same thing of giving the compressed air. So fan generally compresses air with a pressure ratio of maximum 1.11. Okay. Now see what is pressure ratio. It is the ratio of pressure before the air discharge, means when the air discharges, after discharging the air from the device, what will be the pressure, and to the initial pressure, at what pressure the device is taking the air or gas. So it is a ratio of discharge pressure upon inlet pressure. So what is the main function of normal ceiling fan? It is used to give us cool in the summer season. So what that fan is actually doing? It is uh, providing, or it is creating the forced convection which is used to cool our skin. Okay, so the pressure rise is required very small quantity. So we are using fan here. Why it is so? Because for operating the fan, when fan operates, there is a very less losses in it, because there are very less component. What is the component there? There is a shaft, a rotor, and a blades. So the resistance losses in fan is very low. Okay, but if you go for table fan, the resistance losses will increase because it is surrounded by a cage. Again, overall, the fan device used for where the pressure, your loss of energy is very low. So we can use it for increasing very low pressure. Okay. So the main function is to provide large quantity of gas or air with a very low increase in pressure. So this is the function of fan. So there are three categories of fan. That is ceiling fan. Generally, what we are using, we are talking about that only. Table fan and exhaust fan. Okay. Next is blower. What blower does? Blower and fan are more or less same thing. The only difference between them is the rate of pressure. In fan, what we have seen that the pressure rise took place at a ratio of maximum 1 is to 1.11. But in if there is a device which increases the pressure ratio above 1.11 up to 1.2, we that device comes in the category of blower. Here in blower, the resistance is higher as compared to the fan. Why? Because it is properly surrounded by a casing, which fan does not have, like a cage. You have seen here hair dryer. So it is provided with a casing. So the flow of gas or air, the resistance is more. So here the pressure should be high to overcome this resistance. That's why we are increasing the pressure ratio here up to 1.2. The main function of this blower is to increase the pressure because it should deliver the air at a higher velocity. In fan, the velocity of air is important, but not much. But in blower, the velocity is also very important because it has to deliver the air or gas at a higher velocity. So it consists of a nozzle. Generally, there is a nozzle. You can see here a nozzle. So the resistance increases. And to overcome that losses that is happening in blower, we have to increase the pressure much further so that it will be compensated. The third category of machine is compressor, which is most widely used in the industry. Okay, so what is compressor? Compressor is the device where if we need a pressure rise at a ratio of more than 1.2 and we are using a device, we called it as a compressor. Why we called it as a compressor? Because it is usually main focus of this device is to compress the air. The main focus of the fan is to provide cooling by just circulating the air at a slightly higher pressure than the atmospheric pressure. The function of blower is transfer the gas from one place to another. But the main function of the compressor is to generate a compressed air. So that why it is called compressor. Okay. So when there is a requirement of high pressure, we use compressor. The main function is to compress rather than to move a large quantity of gas from one place to another. The most common example of this compression is turbocharger, which generally used in automobile or we can say car. Here, the pressure ratio is reached up to 3.5. Means if the inlet pressure is atmospheric pressure, that is 1 bar, around 1 bar, so the output pressure will be around 3.5. This device is generally used to inflate our tire. This is a machine that you have seen in some shops where they kept compressed air, and when we take our automobile or vehicle in that shop, they will use it to fill air in our tire. Okay, so this is about compressor. Now see how we are categorizing fan, blower, and compressor. Fan pressure ratio up to 1.11. Blower pressure ratio varies from 1.11 to 1.2, and if the pressure ratio is greater than 1.2, we call it as a compressor. Next is how compressor work. It how it work? Here we can see that it takes a definite quantity of air or gas, generally it is air, and deliver it at high pressure. Now, for doing this, we have to provide energy through this compressor. Compressor take air at lower pressure and deliver the high pressure air wherever required. Okay, and meanwhile, that high pressure air is stored in a vessel which is called storage vessel, which is designed so that high pressure air can be stored in it without any accident. So, what is happening here? We are compressing air to a very high pressure ratio. Now, to operate this compressor, we have to work on it. We have to supply work. So, work is done upon the compressor to operate it, which can be seen with this line diagram. So, it is done by a prime mover. Prime mover, how it works? It will take energy from the source in the form of heat, does some work, and reject some heat. So, this work, which is a difference of heat added to the system and heat rejected to the system, this work is getting transferred into the compressor. Generally, it has seen that this prime mover convert work at a very low efficiency. Means the efficiency of this prime mover is not very appreciable. So there is a loss in this prime mover because heat rejected is quite high. The energy received by this compressor is used to operate this compressor, that is work in the form of work. And while we give work into the compressor, continuously air will come inside the system, it will get compressed and it will get stored in this storage vessel. A storage vessel is there and when there is a high pressure air is required, it is delivered at a required place. During this process, there is a loss of heat because of radiation, and again it consists of coolant because when we use to compress air, though the pressure is increases, but also the temperature is increasing. And we know that temperature increases, it will try to increase the volume of the gas. And once the volume of the gas increases, again it tries to drop the pressure. So coolant is very much required in compressor so that though the pressure increases, but the temperature should remain in a desired limit so that more compressed air can be stored in this storage vessel. So this is how compressor works. So this is in this video what we have discussed. We have seen what is turbo machine. In that, we have seen the special type of turbo machine that is for use for compressing the air, for increasing the pressure of the air. Why we need compressed air? The application of compressed air we have discussed. After that, we have seen that in this category of turbo machine, we have three devices, that is fan, blower and compressor. We have discussed each of them in very detail, and we have seen that how these devices work. Thank you. Thank you.